Gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't be scared now. I'ma destroy you when I'm forced, I can tear it down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down. Cut the fix up with some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't be scared now. I'ma destroy you when I'm forced, I can tear it down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down. Oh my God, I am on time. Don't listen to
we found him.
Maverick. I will be on time.
Don't listen to K either. Yeah. Hey
That's
guys.
K in the chat. Let me pull that up.
Listen, as usual, what we like to do here on the Fix is be punctual, and that's what you get here. So you guys are welcome. We just want to thank you all for being here, but you are welcome to be here and witness how well-oiled machine we are. It's something we pride ourselves on here. Punctuality is a hallmark of ours, and we call ourselves the Fix because we're in a constant flux of it. Yes. Thank you all for being here tonight with us. Listen, tonight we're going to keep it really quick, and it works out that way best anyway because I only really had one major topic. I was going to stretch it out into two, but we can keep that into the news roundup and keep it going. It works out just fine. So tonight we're joined again by our good brother, Crusader. And of course, I am joined by my illustrious co-host and co-star, Daniel J. McGee.
What's up?
There you go. Danny now is battle tested, of course, because he's been through the hills of the hellish hole of GCP Discord.
Every time I go in there, someone's calling me out, and I'm like, I don't know what I did, but I'm okay with it, and I'm here to fight.
And that's the thing. You have been tested, and you've earned your medal, and there's they can't stop you. So I'm grateful that you went through that and didn't whimper away, and
Yes, Captain.
You held your own.
Yo, what Discord is this?
This is the Fix. Now,
no, the GCP one.
GCP, you should join it as well. By the way,
Yeah, get me. Someone send me a link.
Yes, I'll link you. I'll link you as we talk. And that is the main link for the GCP, which is the gamer circle of Kiasanti and Everborn. And we congregate there daily. Actually, you would probably like it a lot, because I know that I've told the fellas, I said, my brother Crusader, who's joining us, is a talker. He can speak on anything.
I can.
And
for hours.
Yeah. So that would be ideal, actually, for you right there. Yes. So listen, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank you, Gray Monad, for being here tonight as our mod. Thank you. Thank you, Soil Tech, for being here. You guys hitting me up and, making sure that I stayed punctual, appreciate that. So listen, moving forward, Crusader, my good brother, tell the good folks what you've been up to and what have you been playing or watching.
Yeah, so I'll keep this quick. I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 is good. The stupid analyst is very bad at doing math on numbers. If we go into that later, we can go into that later. Otherwise, their math is bad. It's real bad. But I am thoroughly enjoying 16. And when I go to the beach next week, I'm going to be starting my journey into turn-based Final Fantasies.
Oh, wow.
While we have nothing to do in our downtime on the evenings.
Okay, so you're going to be on the beach playing some, Final Fantasy 9 or something like that?
I am going to be playing the Pixel remasters using Play Anywhere.
Oh, wow. Would you look at that? Woo. What handheld do you have?
16 using Play Anywhere too, but
nice. What you got, the backbone or the Kishi?
I'm just taking a laptop with me. I'm not going to play on the beach. I'm going to play while we're at the beach house.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing games on the beach, then you are not vacationing correctly, I don't think.
No, I will be boogie boarding while I'm at the beach.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, that's dope. So Final Fantasy 16, I enjoyed that. I played that a few years back now, 2 years. I played that, enjoyed it. It was decent. I will say it wasn't the greatest experience of any type of action-based game, but it was pretty fun. I gave it about a 7.5 out of 10 overall, and that's really because the open world, just semi-open world rather, felt very non-existent. It was just kind of there. And as far as activities and things like that, it's just there, and the pacing of things felt a little whatever.
The pacing is what's keeping it back from me. Right now, not finished it yet. I'm at the final part, but I'm actually doing all the side quests that I haven't done yet. I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh.
Personally, I like it. It scratches all of the correct serotonin inhibitors in my, or all of the serotonin is being released into my brain in the right ways.
Is it it could be the dialogue in the story.
It's the story. It's the music.
Yeah. The voice acting.
I do like the action combat. I know I'm playing it with a couple of there's a couple of enhancements that it's gotten through patches. Like when you finish a side quest, there's a button now to just teleport back to the side quest person, instantly. You just press a button and you're back to hand it in, which was not there at launch. So
right.
The pacing is the biggest thing that I wasn't a fan of, and I thought there could have been a little bit more variety in the in some of the moves and combat systems. But I'm loving it.
Okay.
I am actually loving it.
Well,
I knew I would. I just was stubborn and wanted to wait to get achievements in it instead of trophies.
And listen, I get it, because and some people are like, well, why did I just get it? You could have got it years ago or whatever. Or same thing with Final Fantasy 7. Well, it's kind of like it's a principle for some people, right? And in
7,
you want to keep it all in one area, shout out to other folks on the Xbox who got the entire collection now, all on Xbox.
I have the entire collection of available to purchase Final Fantasy games on Xbox right now. And I am officially starting my journey through them.
Perfect.
I've played several of them, and I'll make people mad by saying that Stranger of Paradise was my favorite. So
wow.
It's absolute nonsense, and it is a loot-driven game, and the loot doesn't feel bad. So I'm crazy.
I think if you tell them which ones you've played, they won't be as upset.
I played 16, 15. Yeah, I played 16, 15, that, and 7 Remake.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
With that context, is not so bad. If you had been I played all of them, and the best one is the weird ass remake of I think 1
I played them all, and Strangers in Paradise is it.
People be like, "What do you mean, sir?" It'd be like if someone was like, "My favorite Halo is Halo Wars." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been akin to that. Although it wore worse. Like if I play Gears. Gears Judgment was my best. It was the favorite.
Judgment was not the best one.
It was not the best one, but I don't mind it.
It was weird.
It as an okay game that was fun to play.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It is weird. It is a weird one.
It's not bad. It's weird.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, though, man. I mean, shout out to my brother Jamie Moran. He's playing it. He felt like it was a 10 out of 10 so far for him. So, like, different experiences for different people, right? Different strokes for different folks, as they would say. And also, too, I will highlight it. And I've said this on like a mini review I posted on Twitter at the time. The voice acting and the cutscenes are top notch. Like, if you go in there, like you are a story-driven kind of guy like myself, and I believe like yourself as well, Danny, where we appreciate great stories and such like that, right? So in that situation, I did think it was a solid story, and I did think the way they put the action there, when you see into the what do they call them? I almost said the Titans, but what are they named?
Icons.
Icons. Thank you.
Yeah.
The icons. It is it's a spectacle, and I think that is well done in that way. Benjamin Starr, excellent.
I think he's very handsome. I don't know that I agree that he's talented, but I think he's very handsome and kind. The icons. It's weird because I recognize all of them. One of the things that consistently pisses me off about Final Fantasy is how they rename what they're called in like every game for no reason. Because it's like they're Aeons, they're Icons, they're Eidolons, they're like it changes
Espers.
constantly. Espers is maybe the weirdest one. And I'm just like, why? Just call them summons. We don't need a name beyond that. If you're gonna change it every time and make it confusing as hell, just stop.
Well, with Final Fantasy though, they're in a different universe every time, right? It's not
the numbered ones are each a different universe. Okay. So like all of 7 is in a shared world. All of 8 is in a shared world.
Right.
It's the same thing as the Soulsborne games, where it's like there are souls, there are blood echoes, and there are runes, but you're gonna call them souls in every game forever. And in this case, you're gonna call them whatever they were called in the first one you played. Which is why I always call them Aeons and will always call them Aeons.
Well, in an effort of moving forward, our brother BT Maverick in the chat said he met Ben Starr a few times now, a couple of times. He said he's a very nice guy. That's
a couple of my friends have met him too.
Yeah,
he seems so great and so smoochable, but I just don't like the characters he plays.
Just not the guy. I get you. KC,
I just don't care for his characters.
Yeah, he said out the Pusha T of gaming. I gotta do the for Pusha T in honor of Pusha T. Shout out to KC. Shout out to everybody in the chat again. So let's move in an effort of moving forward. Danny, what about yourself, man? What have you been playing? What have you been up to, watching, etc.?
I've been playing a lot of old games. Been playing a ton of old Resident Evil games. Been watching a lot of old Star Trek. I've really just been doing stuff for Ready Set Replay this week, which is so I don't have a ton to talk about. The biggest thing that happened to me this week happened to me today, and it is that my back hurts so bad.
Oh, man.
At work today, we have these big, like, rolling carts, and I got hit in the hip by one, and my back has felt like shit since then. And I know for a fact, it feels fine right now, like, while I'm sitting down, but I know for a fucking fact, the second I stand up, I'm going to be walking like Master Roshi. And it's going to feel so bad. It's going to feel so bad, and I'm not looking forward to it.
That sucks, man. Sorry that you're experiencing that. It's one of the, Yeah. I listen, I feel your pain. It's one of the things I've actually had to suffer through for a long time. I've done, I played sports, from football to everything else, and I also did manual labor jobs before. So and I wasn't having the best of posture doing it, and lifting crazy heavy weights doing it as I did. And over time, you get older now. It's like finally you start to feel it. So I trust me, I understand. So sorry you're going through it, man. Hopefully you feel better soon. Did you going to the doctor, or you going to get yourself something like some icy hot and try to get yourself right? What's going on?
One of my coworkers lubed up my back
Uh-oh.
with that tiger balm shit,
Oh, hold
and that
on.
felt real nice for a minute there. I'm not taking those words back. I meant what I said. And
Listen, I gotta do it now since we're here.
do it.
There
Here
you
we
go.
I did that. I was taking a big old Epsom salt bath right before I got on here. That felt great. And I think I'm just gonna sleep on my kitchen floor, flat on my back, and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, I got another one for you. He lubed up what?
What your ass say?
Hey, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Hey. If it makes it less awkward, I did get the tiger balm from a female coworker. If that
Oh,
does
okay,
anything
that
for
makes it a
anybody.
bit better. Yes. Was it
Okay,
the female coworker that lubed your back up though?
She just gave. I did it myself. She just gave it to me.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, that's see, you got to lead with that, Danny. You got to lead.
No, if I'm gonna talk about my back getting lubed up, I want it to be as awkward as humanly possible. That's something that I need y'all to know about me.
As long as
That
the
I-
person that lubed you up wasn't like,
I like you, and I want you.
And I want you.
Honestly, though, like if some huge buff guy wanted to give me a back massage right now, and just like, I honestly might feel really nice. 'Cause I don't know what. I need someone to snap my fucking spine back into place, and if that's what it takes, I'll do it.
I would have been like, Daddy. I managed to work in all the sound effects that
Good,
we're
good,
using
good,
throughout GCP all the time. I'm proud of myself. Yeah, man. Sorry about that, though, that you're going through that seriously. But have you
It's all right.
managed to watch or play anything at all? Or has it just really been your pain
We
and
finished.
work?
We finished Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
And I've started Code Veronica.
Nice. One of my
I don't-
favorites.
I don't think it's as bad as people say. The beginning of it has been pretty fucking rough, though. I'm gonna be real with you. The beginning has not been a great first impression.
Does it have the tank controls?
It does have the tank controls, but
Mhm.
it's in 3D, so the tank controls do feel a little bit more awkward for some reason. It's not terrible as far as that's concerned. They do load you up with just like enemies all the time and constantly respawn them, and don't really give you like a lot of ammo. So it's clear that like this is one of the ones where you have to run past the enemies. But then the tank controls are like just awkward enough that is not a thing that you're gonna do successfully often. So it's I don't know, it's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad. So
It's been a while since I've played it, man. But it was one of my favorites in the series. Part 2 being the favorite. But I did love Code Veronica, though.
I'm only about an hour in, so I
Yeah.
really don't know dick all about it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Other than right now, I'm a little frustrated with it.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, we get so used to the modern controls of things. It's tough to go back and adjust to
It
that.
is, yeah.
You know? So.
But then in the Star Trek rewatch, we just got to an episode called Space Seed, which sounds just as gross as everything else I talked about.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
But for people who know, that's one of the like big heralded episodes because it's the one that introduces Khan. So that was a really fun episode to watch, and we will be recording our thoughts about that one.
Yeah.
We're recording it tomorrow, and I mean it's not going to go live for like 2 weeks, but it was a fun watch.
All right, nice, man. You all continuing your Star Trek journey, your trek through Star Trek.
Yeah, we're getting real close to the end of season 1, which is the longest season.
Wait, season 1? I figured you would have been like on season 3 or something by now.
No, we're only on like episode like 22, and season 1 is 30 episodes long, and then or 29 or something like that.
It's
And then
kind
the
of
other two are,
crazy
like,
when you think about it, like how seasons have dwindled down from what they used to be.
Yeah, see, all syndicated TV shows were like 20 plus episodes.
Yeah.
So season 1 is like 29 or 30, depending, because there's an episode 0 that was like a pilot that didn't air until later. It's weird. Don't worry about it. And then season 1 and season 2 are 24 and 25 episodes respectively. So no, we're gonna be on TOS for a minute.
Man.
And then we haven't decided what we're gonna do after that. So if you want to vote on what we do after TOS, get in the comments and start telling us, because we will very happily take whatever suggestions any of y'all have.
There you go. There you have it. Yeah, man. It is crazy. Like again, like episodes for TV shows, syndicated shows or whatever. You know, they've dropped dramatically from what they used to be for most shows. Like you'll get.
It's honestly a little annoying.
Yeah, it's like we got this
really
new
annoying
binge thing where we got to get the material out there faster and such.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and I understand that for some of the shows they do it because there's like we got this SFX budget and we want to make sure that it's not too crazy. But then it's like, I understand that you want to do that for House of the Dragon. Like I get it.
Yeah.
But also, if the effects were a little bit worse and we could actually get something done in a season, I'd be okay with that too. Like I don't need to see a dragon every episode. I really don't. If you want to do like 3 episodes where like there are no dragons and then we can actually get some plot done this season, that'd be cool. I'd be all right with that.
But it's the House of Dragons, though. Like
House of Dragon. I mean, look, man.
we're in their house. We have to see them.
I'll be honest with you. Like the dragons are great in that show. They're not why I'm watching it. There's some like House of Dragon. I think overly hated in some ways. It's not like super hated, but I just think
I think it gets more scrutiny because of
reason-
the end of the first series.
Absolutely. And they brought some of the hate on themselves too, because like they have been like dragging this shit out. So, like it's one book and they've done 2 seasons and have gotten through like 5 chapters. So
Yeah.
they're dragging that shit way out. But what I will say is the character dynamics between the people, like that's the reason to watch the show. If you're going to the show and you're like, I just want to see the dragons eat more shit, like you're going to be disappointed already.
Right.
So you may as well just have a couple extra episodes thrown in there where it's just like,
Yeah,
really
I feel like they're going to, at the very least, it's good to know that they'll likely avoid the pitfall of the first series. I still think about that. I get upset. It's like, you all had it all and then let it slip in the last final 2, at the very least, the last final season.
Well, and it was, it's those writers. They just really fucked the dog on that.
They
one.
did.
It was
They really
upsetting.
did.
ran out of source material.
Yeah. Ran
They
out of source
did,
material, and they
and
were
then-
desperate to move to Star Wars at the time, and that
And they
didn't
got
work
canceled.
out. Right.
Got canceled because of how badly the ending of Game of Thrones was.
And
received,
isn't
from
that
what I understand.
ironic?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's almost like you should just do a good job.
Exactly.
Also, like, oh hey, I know we're the lead of like the literal biggest franchise going in television right now, but what if we like half-ass the ending of this so that we could go work on a Star Wars franchise that is floundering at the moment? Wouldn't that be great?
Right.
Like, what's that career choice?
It was silly.
So like I feel like they wanted to be known as the people that saved Star Wars
Well, they sure
on top of it, and then they just they killed the Game of Thrones instead.
Yeah, and still they killed Game of Thrones.
Right.
What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. Damn them. Oh man. As far as myself, man, not too much. I have been playing the Altars. I have been getting some time in on it. I don't know if you guys are going to try that out or not. But
Eventually,
yeah, the Altars is actually pretty good. I'm not the biggest survivalist type gamer, but I have enjoyed that a lot. I will say I'm about 16 hours into that, and it is nice. I like the story of it so far, and I'm interested in seeing where this goes. Very interesting premise. I think it would be classified as hard science in some ways. But man, really dope. Visually, it's nice, of course. It's made in Unreal. So, but yeah, man, I'm enjoying that. And I had finally got my Odin 2 Portal. It's called the Odin 2 Portal. And with the Odin 2 Portal, actually, I have it on screen. I can show it, I believe. Let's see if I can show that. Well, hold on. I'll do this really quickly. And, okay, there it is. So yeah, that's the Odin 2 Portal. It is a Android device, very capable, has a lot of power in it, very comfortable, very compact. It feels great in the hand. I've only tampered with it a little bit so far. Obviously, you can use it for a ton of emulation, which I will be. Spare me, Nintendo. Please don't kill me. I didn't say anything about doing it for your console and games. But don't send your ninjas after me. But yeah, man, I have to say this is I'm impressed. It had took forever to finally get here because it came from China. But it is dope. I am in love with it already. Also, I got my Switch 2 finally. So, I'm a Nintendo drone now. Welcome me to the hall of Nintendo, everyone.
It comes for all of us eventually.
Eventually, we all play with the golden turds, as you would call them, Danny. Yes.
I wouldn't call them golden.
But yeah, you can see the price ranges there on the screen too, and things like that. I got the Max and Pro, whatever you want to call it. I think it's the Max. Yeah, the Max. So I know nothing but the best. You know how I do. But yes, super happy to get it, man. Finally. Yes, Soiltech, be jealous and envious. That is what I prefer when I show off these devices I get that others don't have. But yeah, I'm gonna actually mess around with that pause all night and try to get all the emulation and everything running on it properly and beautifully. It's an OLED screen, by the way, as you can see on the screen. It's gorgeous. So I can't wait. But I don't want to drag us on too much on that. I do want to move us to the news roundup and then get us to the main topic, because tonight, again, folks, for our punctuality, we want to keep it short. And I do mean that this time. Like, we're going to keep it relatively short tonight and get through the roundup and the topic, and that'll be it. And it works out best that way, because I don't think we had too many major topics we wanted to cover this week.
No, they really weren't.
Yeah, so, let's move to the news roundup.
So the first one I got is one specifically for Crusader. Hey man, how about that marathon delay?
Yeah, it was bound to happen after after the very poor reception to the alpha. Absolutely was bound to happen. I'm not shocked that it's indefinite, but like they said that there will be a date given this fall, and literally like 3 days beforehand, Sony was like, "Yo, it's coming out in our fiscal year, so it's probably coming out before March." Okay. That does severely limit how much can be fixed in it. It does look like, we're definitely getting proxy chat, which was definitely needed for a game like this. It looks like they're going to have some form of solos. I'm still not going to buy it. But,
no, I don't imagine many will, unfortunately.
Yeah. It definitely needs a PvE extraction mode.
It needs a few things. I am really wondering how they're going to handle things when it comes to the art style changes that they're going to have to implement now that they were exposed for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm wondering. And maybe it'll be for the better. It could be for the betterment of this game at the end of the day, because I don't think people resonated with the art style overall as much.
It was definitely divisive. Like, I heard some people that were really into it.
I loved it.
Like Crusader, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Wooly. I don't know if anyone knows him from like formerly of Two Best Friends, now Castle Super Beast. But like, so there's definitely people I've heard who really resonate with it. For me, it just looked unfinished, which is extra funny since it's stolen.
They're waiting for the other art pieces to be posted so they can,
finish.
Even
steal a finished project.
Yeah, they can finish it up by, finally getting the other art pieces to inspire them. No, listen, that was a person or two maybe that did that knowingly, so I don't want to put the shade on everybody, but yeah, that aside, this does not spell, this is not a positive light for Sony. Again, it's weird because we've spoken on this before, and I don't want to drag us on to it too much, but had this been Microsoft, you already know the failure that has been live service for Sony. Microsoft would be like getting destroyed right now. It's been kind of talked about and then moved on from the media as it concerns Sony in most ways. You know what I mean? Like, and I get that Sony they've earned the I guess favoritism in some ways from the media because they have delivered in the past, right? So I get it to some degree, but like this is a lot of failure for live service wise.
I think it's going to come down to the next time something is outright canceled. I really think that I don't think it'll be Marathon. I actually think Marathon's going to come out. It's not going to make them the money anywhere close to what they're going to make it, but like it'll be this weird niche that'll exist. It's Fair Games that's going to fucking.
No, Fair. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Fair
yeah.
Games is
It's Fair
dead.
Games that's going to come out and die. I still, again, I don't think it dies in the way Concord died. I don't think another live service game will ever quite die the way Concord died. Concord was unprecedented in the way it died.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I've never seen a game shut down in like 2 weeks like that and offer full refunds.
It died so fast, people forget about it. I was talking to people, they're like,
yeah,
that didn't
like,
come out. I'm like, yes, it did.
Nothing has like imploded quite like that. And so
Yeah.
like when people are like, is this the next Concord? I'm definitively saying no.
Yeah.
Like this game may come out and it may get shut down after 6 months, right? Or
Yeah.
a year. Or 2 years, right? But it's not going to get shut down in 2 weeks. I can tell you that. I am confident in saying that.
I think it comes down to their pricing, though, because if they feel they come back again after everything, the controversy, and like,
Right.
oh, $50, people are like, what? Get out of here.
Yeah. The Fair Games is the game that I'm like, man, if a game is gonna rival Concord, I still don't even think you're gonna do it, because at least you're in an underserved like heist genre that only Payday does, and the last Payday was bad. But I still am like, man, you're the I have not felt kindly about that game since it was revealed. It hasn't been shown again since it was revealed, but I have not ever felt good about that game.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Good luck to Sony, I would say, but man, it is, it is worrisome, I would say, just in general. I mean, I've seen people make much about at least online, they've made much of the failures, but I just think when you look at the media coverage of it, it hasn't been as dramatic as I would have expected, considering all the failures they've had. But yeah,
I feel like part of what they have going for it is a lot of these games have not been highly anticipated. So it's not a game that people were really excited for, and then it completely flopped. It's a game that like people are like, we don't want you to make this, and then it flops, and it's like, see, we told you we didn't want you to make it.
that's fair.
Yeah. Like if Ghost of Tsushima came out and pulled a Concord, then you'd have people being like, "What the absolute?"
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, if one of the major single player games happens that way, then it's going to be a major problem.
I think if that God of War game had ever actually been announced and came out and was canceled, the one that Blue Point was working on, that would have caused major responses. But because it was like canceled before it was ever publicly announced, and like it was officially a God of War, it never gained that traction to have that. Because that is the thing. Like a lot of their live service games have been canceled before we even knew what they were.
Yeah.
Some of them were never even truly publicly announced. They were only kind of, sort of announced as an unannounced game from like this developer that we have partnered with.
Yeah,
and that helps him on the like public opinion side of things. It doesn't help him so much on the money side of
No, you're 100% right.
So,
like financially, it's a nightmare. But like that is I genuinely do believe that's part of the reason why people haven't had as much of a reaction, is like people expect these kind of games to fail. Right, live service games fail more than they succeed.
They do.
And so I think that combined with Sony's reputation of releasing like things like The Last of Us and God of War has like a buffer for whenever the live service thing fails. But they have a single player game that fails or doesn't meet expectations, then you'll hear people burn the ground because it's like, you're not doing anything right no more. I mean, you're not even giving us these games very often.
Yeah.
So
we had a question from Gray. He said, with Sony losing so much money in canceled games, do you guys see them raising their prices to $90?
$90 now.
No.
Well, 90 CAD, 80 US.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Gray is of course an Australian brother, so he's probably
so
speaking from
90
our
odd.
perspective.
Yeah.
That's
so
the price that it is for. They will raise it to the price of Mario Kart in whichever province you are currently located.
And genuinely, I believe the only reason you're seeing that Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding aren't is both of them were announced for pre-orders before Nintendo or Microsoft came out with that they were increasing the prices to $80. I genuinely believe both of those would be $80 being sold at $80 this year. They have nothing. They have nothing. That we know of with a firm window coming out that has a price attached to it, or that doesn't have a price attached to it, right? So like, I would be confident in saying that Wolverine will probably be $80. I am fairly confident in saying that. What else? Is there anything else announced?
I would be. I would actually be surprised
Saros
if
could be $80.
I would be surprised if Ghost of Yotei isn't actually 80.
No, it's already. You could pre-order it. You could pre-order it months ago.
So it is 80 then.
No, it's 70.
Oh.
So
That's probably the last one.
It's
then.
70. Again, they would be 80, but they were
100%.
up for pre-order long before Nintendo increased the price.
Got you.
Like you could already purchase those games at $70, right?
Okay.
That's the reason that you are seeing Ghost of Yotei at $70 because in like April, I think you could pre-order it in like April.
Right. So Intergalactic,
or the
$80,
price. Yeah,
sure.
Intergalactic probably $80.
Yeah.
Now, I also would like to say this, like, a game like Saros is a hard one, you know, the next one coming from Housemarque. That one you might even see at 60, because one of the things that you're seeing with both Nintendo and Xbox is that, some of the games are going to 80, but
the premium.
some of them are staying, of them are staying lower. Some of them are at 40, some of them are at 50,
Some of the
them
less
are at
premium
60.
titles, because they have varying prices because of the budget behind them, I would guess. But yeah,
and I also think it's going to be how much value they think the customers will get out of it. And with Microsoft, it doesn't matter quite as much. They can mess around with it because most people are going to play it on Game Pass anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
So it only kind of creates bad publicity for them. That's not going to result in a difference in the amount of players playing.
I think they will differentiate though, like for something like Roundup 2.
Microsoft absolutely is going to differentiate because they announced Gears of War at $40 at the same time they announced or at the same time they announced that there were going to be $80 games. Definitely that's one of the things is that the $80 or even higher is not going to be representative of all games. We are actually going to be seeing an era where games are priced very, very differently. I'm fairly positive in saying that.
Yeah, for sure. But then, what else did we have in the news? I got to move us forward a bit. Oh, before we go forward, I just want to say shout out to my brother Coffee. So I love coffee. Donates a generous $4.99 donation to us, $5 donation. He says, "I'm paying Umbra to stay awake." Well, you, sir, have failed. Instant sleep is my power. Yeah. He says $80 game. Grace says an $80 game for us is $120 for them.
That sounds about right with the conversion.
Sheesh.
That's crazy.
And what I've heard from
I don't understand how people afford that in Australia.
You all have to fight Jumanji creatures and pay that?
Electronics are wildly expensive in Australia, even accounting for the wildly different cost of living. Because a lot of stuff is not as expensive otherwise for cost of living, but electronics are more far outside of the ratio of reasonability.
That doesn't make sense though to me, because Australia is right by China.
They have insane import fees.
I guess that's
we are about to have.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
One of the other things that we ended up moving into the news roundup here, because it's probably not something that we're going to talk too long about, is there is this rumor, most likely not true at this point, of Sony looking to maybe buy WB. There was this rumor that they were looking to do it after, because they recently separated the games and the studio / HBO side of the company off to do its own thing, and they basically made a second half of their company and saddled it with all the debt that they had, which is a thing that companies do a lot. And so now that has happened, there's this thought that now PlayStation's going to buy them. And there was also this going theory of they've already made a deal and it's going to be $20 billion. I saw that on 2 video thumbnails, and I don't know where they got any of this numbers from because none of it has been even really talked about by any of the major news sites.
Yeah.
I don't think this is real, and I would certainly not want it to be real. Them buying the studio side of things, the video game side of things, I don't even necessarily think would be the worst thing in the world. If they made it exclusive, that would suck. I honestly am not even sure at this point that they would. If they did, it would be a mistake for everyone involved, and then they would just go like Bungie, and they'd end up closing all these studios down.
Yeah, good luck to them.
The part that I would be worried about is them buying HBO, because looking at the anime streaming services that they have this really great track record of just like really shitting the bed on making a product, making really any. I mean, hell, look at their subscription services for PlayStation. Making any kind of service for Sony, they're just really bad at it.
Yep.
They just cannot seem to get this to work. And HBO is already a thing that's not like amazing. It has really great content, and it's probably the one that I use the most, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if Sony got in there and started dicking with it, I don't want that. Also, like, wouldn't it be weird as hell for Sony to own Spider-Man and Batman?
Yes.
How does that work? That universe.
This is what upsets me more than anything, actually. Like, if I actually had a twinge of like being angered by this, because it was like, Microsoft, I wanted you to get WB. I had been saying this for years, like counteract them with Marvel by having DC. But like clearly Marvel was on Xbox too with Blade and things. But I want it would be crazy to allow them to have this kind of monopoly on superheroes. I agree.
I actually genuinely think that if like we're hearing this rumor, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft was also looking at it.
Everyone is.
Anyone with the money to do it is looking at it.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't know. I don't know if Sony has the money to do it right now.
I don't either.
With how much money they've been losing everywhere else,
right?
Like, I don't necessarily know if
they could definitely get the loans.
They can get loans, yeah.
They can definitely get the loans for it.
But like they've already made so many bad bets, and Warner Brothers. Look, I love a lot of the stuff that they make. Financially, not a great bet right now.
Kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Microsoft, I think, like could maybe do it.
Microsoft can definitely do it.
Necessarily pushing for that either.
Yeah,
like,
that would also they could free up that money, but that would be also a nightmare because like let's look at how they've been like handling everything.
Yeah, layoffs and everything happening already.
The layoffs, selling of one of their coolest studios after they closed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, although I will say I don't necessarily think I see Microsoft buying them, but we have seen them getting really buddy in terms of like
strategic partnership. Yeah.
So I do think that like certainly PlayStation's not going to be like money hatting games from them. I think that there's maybe the fighting games, I guess, but like even outside of that, I think that we've seen that partnership get stronger. I don't know that acquisition is necessary for that relationship to like be as strong as like Xbox fans would want it to be. You know what I mean?
There's a twofold problem with either of those parties purchasing them, in that there will be questions over whether either of them, in a weird sense, could be defined as some form of market leader. At this point, Microsoft could be defined as a monopsony, basically a monopoly on employing people within the games industry. They're not the largest, but they have
them.
Right. Well, and that's part of the problem of a monopsony. Is how much control they have over hiring and firing. And Sony would have a genuine problem that they are the market leader in the console space, as like determined by the FTC and whatever the UK one is. That they would have a hard time if they'd have to do what Microsoft did with Activision Blizzard and come out and say that like these are going to be like day one, we're keeping this the same. But they also have the problem of who's going to make the games. Warner Brothers killed their studios. There's like the developers left.
Well, not all of them. They still have Rocksteady.
Right.
But
Rocksteady and NetherRealm. They've got
NetherRealm is like the only successful one, like the fighting game studio.
They've got a couple of studios. The bigger name studios still exist. It's all the like smaller ones that got shut down. In Monolith.
Avalanche is still doing pretty good because of Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
Rocksteady is hanging on by a thread.
Rocksteady I think is probably going to be okay.
Which is a shame because look at all the stuff they turned in.
Don't they still have Montreal, or did they didn't close
Montreal?
No,
I don't remember. They closed a bunch of random crap a little bit ago, and I was really sad about Monolith.
Yeah.
But like again, it's like, oh cool, they're gonna have all these IPs they can do with. Does that mean that like everyone is becoming a IP studio that they don't make? Like is everyone gonna suffer the same fate as Insomniac within Sony right now?
It's interesting because they did. Other news came out that WB is restructuring how they tackle the gaming, and so they're gonna have teams just for like Batman and such, and just for Harry Potter or whatever.
It was Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones. DC and
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I was out here going, what about Lord of the Rings? And they said, shut up, peasant, and threw me back into my hole that I crawled out of.
Yeah, shut up. We don't want you to get your cool RTSs or the Battle for Middle Earth Battlefront.
They were like,
we
you
will
shut your
never
mouth
make
when you're
Battle for
talking to
Earth
me.
playable on modern consoles.
But
Eat your slop, bitch.
That said, I feel like what it could end up being is that Sony doesn't try to acquire them so much as make exclusive deals, maybe, right? Do something.
I still don't even think that's financially that is like getting very hard to make financially viable in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
The only way it's like you'll see a lot of it is coming from studios, especially startup studios in Southeast Asia or in Korea, that are like brand new startups that basically need the money for publishing. Like they need it to exist as a company. Like Shift Up. Shift Up is like the prime example.
Yeah.
Because like Square Enix can't afford to do it anymore. They can't afford to not be on Switch, on Xbox, on PC. They can't afford the multiple marketing cycles that are necessary for all the ports. They want to do everything all at once. To have one marketing cycle, have all of the game come out everywhere at once, so that like the word of mouth all does the same thing for everyone on every platform at the same time.
Right.
And I genuinely don't think that Warner Brothers is in a position where it can genuinely afford to make anything exclusive.
And that's another reason why I think that the relationship with Microsoft and them is going to get tighter. I could see them taking Game Pass deals.
Your Game Pass deals, I could see. I can also see them doing like Microsoft will help us publish this game. They'll fund it, and that doesn't impact anything because Microsoft will put it anywhere you want. You want to put it on Luna with Amazon? We'll do it.
It's true.
Go for it, buddy.
It's a win-win situation. Absolutely.
Like, So, you're definitely not wrong there either. I could 100% see that.
Yeah.
100%.
For sure. Look, moving us forward, Danny. What else did we have?
We have. Oh, do you want to talk about the weird stuff going on with Switch? There's a handful of things that we think we can lump together into one.
Sure.
Number one, there was the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct. I think the game still looks like doo-doo butter, but that's fine. A lot of people like playing with their sticks and rocks. That's what Nintendo is known for. And this is playing with rocks, the video game. I'm just glad because it looks like exactly the kind of thing like that the man children will give 10 out of 10s for, and it is on my fantasy critic team, so like I'm all for it. And the rock was Pauline. It turns out the rock that was on his back in the first trailer turns out it's a little girl. He's kidnapped a small child.
Well, it's the character from Mario Odyssey, and she's got her toes
young
out, for some reason.
So we're really hitting all the demos here.
I'm so tempted to show it, but I'm also terrified of
don't.
Yeah,
it's probably not worth it. But alongside all of this is some other weird news in the Switch 2 ballpark. Number one, somebody stole 28,000 Switch 2s out of a truck.
Worth like 1.4 million, right?
Which is insane. Yeah. There's a lot of like tech in those, and so if they know what serial numbers it is, like they're gonna know which ones were stolen, and they can just start. They've already started turning off consoles that are using those like ROM chips, you know what I mean? That you can like download a ROM onto and play it on your Switch. They've already started shutting down accounts that are using that on Switch 2, which is crazy, but whatever. Here we are. Welcome to 2025, baby. Nintendo's the worst. And then also in the same sort of Nintendo rock block of news, people trying to cloud save, move their shit from Switch 1 to Switch 2 have had, in some cases, like 20 years of save files just vanish.
Rip.
Yeah.
Gone,
I
bitch.
saw that earlier.
That Pokemon that you moved forward from Pokemon Red, your thick Charizard that's been your best friend since you were 6, gone, baby. If you did it in even slightly the wrong way, that shit is gone forever.
Man.
Fuck you, I guess, says Nintendo.
That sucks. I feel like, what do you do at that point? I guess we start over, but yeah.
I mean, it's just like at the end of the day, it's just a Charizard. It's like it's a little bit of code, but like it's the emotional attachment, and also like if you straight up losing a Pokemon save file, whatever, you start it again. It's not a long game. You can get the Pokemon again. The one that fucks me up is the one where they're like, "Hey, your Animal Crossing island gone. You might never get the same villagers that you had. You might never get that fish that's got like a 1% drop rate. Like, sorry, but like the hey man, just start over on that game is so much worse. That sucks so hard.
I want it to be the very best until I lost my save.
Pokemon,
Yeah,
you can just use like
Nintendo-
PK hacks to just recreate the
Yeah,
thing.
you can just cheat it.
bit by bit and get it back.
But then, hey, if you do that, maybe they'll shut your entire account down. So who knows?
That's why you do it, and you put it on your 3DS, and you use the 3DS transfer feature to Pokemon Home.
We don't know. We don't know how in the weeds Nintendo's gonna get with their ban hammer. All right, I don't know, man. But yeah,
on Donkey Kong
in
though,
conclusion.
like, did you guys have any like of it? Like, what did it look pretty good to you?
It's
This
okay.
direct. Yeah,
It looked like a pretty good 3D action platformer.
it does look like it's pretty fun though. Yeah,
It looks
It
like a
looks
really good
like
game
Mario
to put in front
Odyssey,
of a child and
but-
not have to parent them for a couple hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Nintendo is great at like pulling that whole whimsical thing when it comes to their characters, and allowing them to be so much more than they were. Like Pauline, I think, is it the character that's with him?
Yeah.
She gets to sing, and then all of a sudden he's powered up, and he can transform to like an ostrich or whatever it was.
I love that people are mad
Zebra.
about the like timeline of Mario supposedly being fucked up because of this, and I'm just sitting here like, what do you mean Mario has a timeline? What are you saying to me?
People try to do that same shit with Zelda, where they're like, "Oh, there's actually 5 different timelines, and they all converge based on this one thing." And blah, blah. And it's like, you are doing so much work for Nintendo right now. They're just different games, and that's okay.
At least with that, there is like a little bit of a narrative. There's no narrative in Mario. There is. I
Yeah, that's
refuse to accept that there is a narrative.
It's a slight
in Mario.
narrative.
You cannot make me.
It's just slight narrative. Like she gets kidnapped, he has to go save her.
Yeah,
from-
no, it's
save
the barest of
kingdom.
bones. There is a structure to what you were trying to do.
You're
Right.
Like there is an
Every
actual
Mario.
story.
There's a
going
plot.
On with,
There's
like,
a plot, but
there's
not a
an actual
narrative.
True
Yeah.
plot in Zelda. So like at least there's a reason for people to try to care about it in Zelda. I'm like, what are you talking about to me with Mario?
Right.
Shut up.
I will say this. I would be remiss if I did not mention this. Now, Donkey Kong is not going to be priced at $80.
No.
I played a bit of the Mario Kart World, and I don't know. Maybe it's I'm older and it doesn't appeal to me the same. I don't see $80 worth of a game there, and I'm sure there's much more to do.
Said that.
Yeah, it's not. It's. I'm sure I'm sure it'll be much more fun when I play with and against the friends. But I have yet to be like, oh man, I felt all $80 worth of that.
It was $80 because it was a Mario Kart game, and people would pay that for it.
Yep, and it's bundled, so they're
That's the
gonna
reason.
rank the Weasel's numbers up for sales.
Honestly, Donkey Kong should feel offended. He should be upset because what they said is you ain't shit. Apparently,
Because that being said, I actually played one round of the Mario Kart on my friend's Switch.
Yeah.
And it played well. It's not the first time I played a kart racer. It is the first time I played a Mario Kart game.
Oh wow!
As
Really?
loud as that sounds, I'm not a Nintendo dude.
Okay. Alright.
But I had a good time.
If
10
it's your
out of
first
10
time ever
would-
playing it,
10 out of
yeah, I can
10
see that for
would
sure.
not buy a Switch for it.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. Now, my favorite kart racer of all time do be Looney Tunes Space Race, for the Dreamcast and PS2.
Went back in time on us.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that's some good racers out there, actually. Some good kart racers. So I know Crash had a decent one as well. Crash Bandicoot. Sonic has one coming up, actually. What is it? Sonic Overdrive or something like that?
It's Sonic Crossroads.
Crossroads, okay.
Isn't that Cross Worlds or
Cross
something?
Cross Worlds, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's it.
because it's got
And it has Hatsune
Joker in there,
Miku.
and yeah.
Yeah.
We're making our friend play it who can't stand Hatsune Miku, and we're gonna make him play as Hatsune Miku.
Oh,
No,
nice.
he shouldn't have to play as Hatsune Miku. Everyone else in the lobby should, though.
Uh-huh.
So he's just surrounded. He's Shadow the Hedgehog, just surrounded
There's nowhere to go.
by 400 Mikus.
But-
And just do the Miku beam emote constant.
You all have to use the quotables from that character to keep them locked in. But what other news that we have, Danny? Was it
I think that covers all. I mean, there's a couple little things for me if you want me to go into them. But
I think can we highlight the scores for the games released recently, because one game came in particular, Mind's Eye.
Mind's Eye got unreleased, which is crazy. I don't have the numbers for that, but they just know real bad.
Got like a 37
right now
on OpenCritic.
It had crazy low scores.
Mind's Eye got its ass kicked, and it was real bad.
I genuinely, having watched it, I'm like, man, this definitely deserved to be shit on. I don't know if it deserved a 37. It's one of the lowest scores in gaming. I don't know that you can claim that it is worse than Alien Colonial Marine, but
I'm seeing a lot of fives. A rarely used IGN 5.
Yeah, right. Like,
oh, sorry, IGN give it a 4.
Oh wow.
Eurogamer give it a 1 out of 5.
It scored terribly low. Yeah,
it's down there. It's real bad.
Oh wow, Games the gamer here that I'm highlighting here on the screen gave it a 1.
Yikes.
Sheesh. It says officially the worst reviewed game of the year. It's got to be one of the worst ever of all time, right? It has to be.
You know what? Can I tell you another thing that pisses me off about Switch? This is a sidetrack. Those mother... Ooh. They came out and they were like, Metaphor isn't the best... Or not Metaphor. Fuck it. Expedition 33 is not the highest rated game of the year anymore because we re-reviewed Tears of the Kingdom for some dick-ass reason. Eat my balls. What do you mean? We have to bury the best like indie game made in the last 20 fucking years behind a re-review of the third release kind of Breath of the Wild, because let's be honest, Tears of the Kingdom is just Breath of the Wild again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it's the third release. It was on the Wii U.
That's you know what? And you're right. And he's right. And he should say it. This is bullshit, and I'm genuinely mad about it. Like, now Expedition 33, this game that absolutely deserves it, can't go and be like, well, we're the best rated review. They have to add like new modifiers to the sentence. We were the best reviewed game of the year to like we were the best reviewed new game of the year because Tears of the Kingdom decided to have the man baby suckle its master sword again, and now here we are playing a game that looks like it came out 15 years ago on the damn N64 for the 5th time. Cool, right. Thank you.
What a masterpiece Expedition 33 by the way.
We finally made it so you can hit the scan button and have it not stutter your game into the absolute void. Cool, 10 out of 10. I don't even hate the game that much. I'm just mad on behalf of Expedition.
I feel so bad because anytime Expedition, I feel bad because anytime Expedition 33 comes up, we've been in Discord and it deviates the conversation every single time. It is that damn good of a game, and I want to shout out to this artist who is Tyler. Let me make sure I say this person's name right. It is Tyler Hepner. Shout out to Tyler Hepner who did all of this art here that you see here, and especially the Renoir here, who it was done by the request of Andy Serkis. So shout out to him. It's funny though to see they like, oh, look at all these art pieces here from Expedition 33. Oh, and there's also a man from Yakuza here from some odd reason, just here next to them. I don't know why he's here, but yeah. No, this guy is spectacular with his art. Like, look at this. Beautiful.
That was awesome.
Yeah, man. I loved Expedition 33 so damn much. Anyway, let me stop before I start droning on about it. Such a damn great game. But man, listen, what Goro Majima. Kiryu-chan.
I've got one more, but it's literally just for me, and I don't know if anyone else on the planet will really care. Okay, here we go. Hey, there were some big shakeups in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh. Okay, I'm interested. I'm here.
I like the shakeup part you mentioned because they rolled dice. I peeped that.
Thank you. I didn't mean that on purpose, but I did mean that on purpose. I mean, sorry. Yeah, I'm actually a genius. So two of the like huge big names behind 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which is one of the more popular ones, especially coming off the back of 4th edition, which I liked, but most people didn't. Chris Perkins, who was one of the big writers, and Jeremy Crawford, who was the game designer who like came up with the mechanics of it. Both of them have left Wizards of the Coast and are now working for a company called Darrington Press, which is the company founded by the Critical Role cast to make tabletop RPGs. And they have specifically gone to join the team for the D&D competitor that group is making called Daggerheart. And they're doing the exact same thing that they were doing over at Wizards of the Coast, but now just over there. And so probably Daggerheart's going to be real good because, like, Chris Perkins he wrote Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Annihilation, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Rime of the Frost Maiden, and he was involved in pretty much every other book that exists in 5th edition.
We love Rime
he
of
is
the Frost
prolific.
Maiden.
He's very good. The only negative I have to say about him is, like, hey, man, maybe make some names that are pronounceable. But outside of that, he's real good at it. And Darrington Press just got 2 absolute hitters, and I don't know what the hell's going on over at Wizards of the Coast, but it's not a great sign for them.
They're getting milked by Hasbro.
It seems like it, frankly.
Yeah.
As a Magic the Gathering player,
I do hope that, like, D&D doesn't fall by the wayside because there's so much lore and shit there that I want to still be good. Like all of the gods and all of the like Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate and all these things, like all of that lore has been a thing that has been with me for a very long time. And I would hate if, like, Wizards of the Coast was just like, and we're never doing D&D again because our guys who are the good ones at it left. Like, I would be genuinely pissed. But I'm also 100% okay with them going and starting this new thing and having, like, a real genuine competitor for Dungeons and Dragons, because there's been a couple that have popped up. There's been, like, Pathfinder and all that, and people like those, but they've never really competed with Dungeons and Dragons in the way that this move makes me feel like this one could. If that makes sense.
It's crazy because if you started chatting up like this with my brother Morty, you all would be there talking for probably hours on end. I know he has a love for Dungeons and Dragons.
Get on in here, Morty.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
He loves it.
I have been a dungeon master in a not BDSM way for nearly 20 years. And, so I've been doing it for a long time. No. And I have been a dungeon master in a BDSM way for about 5 years. So we're really getting it just really from all sides on that one.
I had to give the pause. I had to give the Mario pause for you.
I do have a lot of experience with Dungeons and Dragons, mostly 4th and 5th edition, but I started on 3.5.
Yeah. Hello, crippling debt. Hello.
So D&D is like a big thing for me. I understand that probably for a lot of our chat, not really. But just know this is a big deal and will likely impact even the D&D video games because if you liked Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur's Gate 3 was basically a sequel to Chris Perkins' writing on Descent to Avernus. And so, like, this is a big deal for a lot of things that, like, may not be directly related but are more than you would think. Okay. So just know that I told you about this when it happens to you. When you see it in your neck of the woods, know that it started in mine and that I warned you.
Yeah, man. Speaking of D&D, I mean, I have to get through Baldur's Gate 3 eventually. I got that and I never touched the game, and I had buddies continuously like, oh, play it, I'll jump in with you and play it. And yeah, I feel like that game is going to take a lot of time, and I'm like,
it's very long.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really want to dedicate time to it right now. But yeah, man. Did you have? It sounded like you had one more piece or something like that you wanted to mention.
That's all I got. Sure. That's it.
Okay. Wasn't there? It was one other game that released, by the way. Had
like the review scores.
Yeah.
We had something for Firebreak, FBC Firebreak. Oh, yeah. But it's got very, like, middling reviews. Its Metacritic is at 66. But it has a really weird, like, spread where it got a 6 out of 10 from Push Square, but a 9 out of 10 from Game Grin. So it's all over the place on that one. Open Critics at a 75.
It is it's not a finished game. There's a lot of work that needs to go into it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Give a shout out to a few people in the chat before we move to the main topic. Crippling that. Hello chat. Hello Pano. Hello Crippling that. That's my British accent right there. It's very spectacular. Thank you all for noticing it. Shout out to Risky, my brother Risky. What's up, Risk? Shout out to Lucius Augustus, my brother. What's good? Splendiferous. What's up, brother? King Webb, what's up, brother? XWO. Shout out to KC. Shout out to Back from the Dead. Talos, I saw you earlier. Shout out, brother. Fuzzy Tomato. Shout out to you. Shout out to who else did I see earlier? 10 Games. Who? Thank you, 10. I keep thinking back to when I was yelling at the dog over here, the neighbor's dog, and he's like, Umbra, we can hear you. I'm like, and I'm thinking I'm muted here, and it's muted on my end, but not the mixer part, so it's still coming through for the audience. I'm like, oh crap! Thank you for that. So thank you, brother. I appreciate that heads up. I saw you earlier, Kay. I know you were in the chat. I'm not sure if you're still around. Shout out to Abacab. What's up, brother? And yeah, thank you all for that. I risk it. Come on. Now that British accent was on point. Well, wouldn't you guys agree? Hello. Tally ho. Cheerio. Indeed. Indubitably. Okay. Listen. Not everybody can understand greatness. It is what it is. But listen, let's move to the main topic here for tonight. And I'll let this play. Microsoft seems to be less litigious compared to Nintendo, so I'm sure I can actually play this with the volume on. All right. Gray, what? What's wrong, man? I'm trying to give you all quality accents here. I'm trying to, yeah, on point. Yeah, it's right. Yeah. I'm trying to give you all some experiences here that you're not used to, Gray. And that's my English accent. Listen, Danny and Crusader love it. So I don't know what you guys' problem are. Anyway. So we had an announcement the other day. Xbox and AMD powering the next generation of Xbox.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start or?
Exciting.
I figured I'll let this play a bit. I don't know if you guys can hear it on your end.
I have the video muted.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to hear myself.
Yeah.
It does look like it's buffering though.
Oh, it's playing on my end. Yeah.
Maybe that's me.
It's probably you.
Anywhere you want, delivering you an Xbox experience not locked to a single store or tied to one device. That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. The next generation of Xbox is coming to light, and this is just the beginning. We can't wait to show you what's next.
Okay, so one of the key things I noticed people picked up on was like, oh, she's like, the Windows part she highlighted. We were working closely with the Windows team and we want to make sure that the Windows gaming is pushed forward and such and such. Let me make sure I get that quote exactly right. Let me see.
Library of Xbox games. This is all about building you a gaming platform that's always enhanced with the power of AI, all while maintaining compatibility with your existing library of Xbox games. This is all about building you a gaming platform that's always with you, so you can play the games you want across devices anywhere you want, delivering you an Xbox experience in your hands.
Missed it.
Together with AMD, we are advancing the state of art in gaming silicon to deliver the next generation of graphics innovation to unlock a deeper level of visual quality and immersive gameplay and player experiences enhanced with the power of AI, all while maintaining compatibility with your existing library of Xbox games. This is all about building you a gaming platform that's always with you, so you can play the games you want tied to one device. That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming.
There it is. She says this, making sure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming, and a lot of people got kind of up in arms about that. Like, what does she mean by that? That's not Xbox. Windows is right, and the Xbox is running on Windows anyway, right? It's not the full
very
gamut.
modified.
Yeah, this is a modified version of it. and I think people kind of ignore that. But like what they're doing here, and what they're doing with the handheld is going to be on Windows as well, and it's going to be a streamlined version of it that you don't have to deal with if you don't want to, from a user perspective. And I think that's pretty dope, and I think it's going to work really nice with the implementation of how you'll be able to access all these different storefronts to get straight to it without having the hassle that we've had to deal with if you get the ROG Ally or other Windows handhelds currently right now. So I'm loving everything that I'm seeing about this. Oh, thank you, Crippling Dad. Thank you for that one. He says, going in a battle with a ball of war. That was, I just wanted to deliver that. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? Like, what, Crusader, I know you had a whole write-up on this, and that's why I was like, let me bring
I did.
up. What's your thoughts on this?
100% did. Yeah, so for those who don't know, I did a whole write-up on this on r/gaming leaks and rumors, and it was like the full history of like all of the leaks, confirmed things, interviews, and stuff about Xbox's next hardware, because I wanted to get I kept seeing people arguing about dumb shit, and I needed to make sure that it wasn't me being an idiot, and it usually isn't, but I needed to make sure it wasn't. So I always do these little, like highly sourced research things, and I did one about this, and I've been on this show many times, and I have been angry on this show many times about Microsoft not communicating things with people. I think that is very fair to say that I have done that many times on this show, right? That I've come in and been mad that Microsoft just won't tell us things.
Right.
This is exactly what I've wanted from Microsoft for a while. Some stuff could have been a little bit more concise, but overall, they said the words I wanted to hear more than anything.
Yep.
That it is built around compatibility, and your library will be compatible with what comes next.
That's
it's the most
the
important thing they could have said.
Yeah, agreed.
Because at this point, I'm so enfranchised into Xbox, it doesn't matter if their stuff's going elsewhere. I can't leave. And I can't afford to rebuild elsewhere. I have spent too much money on games.
Yeah. You're entrenched.
I am very entrenched, and I very much liked everything that I had to hear, because it's not. If you also watch the AMD equivalent of this that was released today, they talked about how it's a multi-year thing, and it's being built with compatibility at the core on their end too, and it sounds like there's going to be a lot of devices coming from this. I believe Jez Corden used the word plurality of device, and it's very, very, very exciting to actually have some definitive, more concrete, and less cancelable, because this has been announced as a strategic multi-year partnership with AMD. There's a lot of mutually assured money on the line here. This is not something that we're now past the concept of like the Windows phone where like it can easily be killed, right?
Right.
It is very clear that this is a massive portion of the strategy. Like that hardware is an inescapable massive portion of the strategy. But it also kind of goes to show something that Phil Spencer has been talking about since he did in an interview with Polygon. A lot of people are like, the insiders keep coming out and they keep saying that the next window or that the next Xbox console is going to run like Steam and stuff, and I don't know why they keep saying stuff like this. They're saying stuff like this because Phil Spencer straight up said it in
He
an
literally was saying that that's
it
what
was the first
aiming to do.
reference of it.
Yeah.
And he said that he sees the future of consoles as because they're incredibly hard to subsidize, because if anyone knows what Moore's Law is functionally dead. And I don't mean the shit YouTuber who just lies about stuff. The concept of Moore's Law, that every so much period of time the amount of transistors and efficiency doubles in computer hardware is failing, and it's becoming a lot harder to produce stuff for cheaper. And so as a result, subsidizing hardware is becoming much, much harder. And we're seeing this across the board. Everyone's increasing their prices, not just because of tariffs, but because it is physically almost impossible to make it cheaper in the ways that it used to be in the past. And as a result, they need to change that strategy. And he said that in order for them to change the strategy but still remain profitable, they were going to have to do two things. The first thing was they were going to go fully multi-platform with all of their games. And as a result of that, they have to do something to differentiate the hardware even further because they can't subsidize the hardware as much anymore. So it's going to be more expensive, and they have to do something to make it different. And so they wanted to Windowsize it, which means make it an open platform where there are more stores. And we directly hear Sarah Bond say that, emulate both of these things in her saying that you're not bound to one store.
Yep.
You're not bound to one store to buy their stuff, and you're likely not going to be bound to one store to actually purchase things on the device.
Yeah.
In a video that is made about the future of hardware and silicon in a partnership with AMD, the main point of saying that you are not bound to one store is meaning that there will be more than one store on a device.
Absolutely.
If it is meant to be taken in any other way outright, I will hit you. I will physically fight the people who are saying otherwise.
I hope you all are ready for some fisticuffs.
It was a video made about a partnership with a hardware manufacturer. They are talking about the overarching ecosystem that they have planned across these hardware devices. They are planning multiple stores. And where does that leave Xbox console games? Well, at first, it's almost certainly they're still going to be restricted to the first-party devices. Like, I don't think you're going to see any Windows device ever being able to play all Xbox console games. Mm-hmm. You might get some that are licensed that can run in an emulator on an Xbox or outside of Windows. But what you're probably going to see first is you're going to see a skew of first-party devices, which she outright uses the term first-party devices, which implies the existence of third-party devices. And a third-party device could refer to Nintendo and PlayStation. They are third-party devices to Microsoft. Microsoft is a third-party publisher on them. Mm-hmm. The inverse is true, that they are a third-party device for Microsoft. It could also mean that Microsoft is going to license out its specialized Windows, probably 12 when the next Xbox comes out, right. Windows 12 device to some third-party OEMs like Asus, and put an official Xbox specialized Windows, I'm going to call it Windows Gaming, like Windows Pro, Windows Gaming OS for them, license it out. The regular end users aren't going to be able to purchase it, but a ROG could come with it, and maybe it will be able to play console games because it is specially licensed and being deemed a console. Because that's a very interesting thing that people are saying, oh, the licensing is too hard because they're going to have to relicense all these games for new hardware. Not really. Only kind of. Only sort of. Because they didn't have to relicense everything to get it from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series, right?
Right.
They did with a lot of 360 stuff, but the 360 stuff was never intended to move. There is a difference in how the digital content is being treated, and it can move up on the consoles. It's just kind of how far can they stretch the definition of what a console is. It'll definitely be all their first-party devices. But the real question becomes, can they license that OS to third parties and have third parties make consoles? I think so.
And that right there is a good point right there that you mentioned, by the way, because what exactly defines
a console?
Exactly.
Yeah.
People will say, well, something you plug into the TV. Well, you can plug a PC to a TV.
Right.
But going to that point, if they're saying it's not a traditional Xbox, though, well, it doesn't have to stay traditional. What rules are there that it has to stay that way?
Ultimately, I think they're moving in the direction where they're going to have how they have like Windows 11 Home and Windows 11 Pro that have slightly different features. Mm-hmm. I think the end goal, and I'm talking end goal, I'm talking like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, is to have a Windows gaming SKU that allows users to bring their own hardware. And they're going to turn the OS into the console. The OS is going to be a software concept, the console is going to be a software concept. Yeah. It's going to take a long time for them to be able to redefine that, and they may never be able to, but I think that is their ultimate end goal, is they want to redefine the concept of a console to be something different than what it is today.
It goes back to what we've been talking about for a long while. I don't think people really paid attention to us.
No.
Like, I've been on other shows myself, Risk It. I've said it on Boom Show many times. People did not. I don't think people really listen because I'm not like Tom Warren or whatever, or somebody, right? Mm-hmm. But the thought was already put out there many times. We've heard it many times in the back. That this is exactly where they were going with this, which would be to allow for Microsoft, the Xbox at least as a platform, to be playable everywhere. And what they mean by that is having an OS, so to speak, of Xbox that can be attached to whatever device. So I absolutely agree with you on the third party. That's exactly where they're going to go with it. And we even had a bet going on GCP, by the way, about what would Microsoft or Xbox have a next gen console themselves, or would it just be third party that is using it?
This is confirmed outright. They're going to have a first party one,
Yeah.
and I think that was guaranteed. Now, whether or not they continue to do first party stuff is unknown. I actually think they're going to be moving more towards the iPhone route, and it's not going to be every year, but I think you're going to get more hardware revisions than not, and I think that's why they're stressing that this is a multi-device, multi-year
So you're
strategy.
gonna get like a more powerful version. You're saying every other year or two.
I think they're going to move it into the more upgrade when you want, and games are going to support specific. Again, it's going to move more towards a PC.
Yeah.
Eventually, like it'll be very gradual and it'll be very specific. But I genuinely think that you're going to see the kind of like RTX 30 series, 40 series, but you're going to see the equivalent of that where it's like every few years with Xbox hardware.
Yeah.
I think that's a totally reasonable thing to think.
That would eliminate, by the way, generations for them, essentially.
I actually do genuinely believe they are trying to move away from the concept of generations because it's too restricting, and it also gets rid of the problem of the quote-unquote Series S, where you are stuck with a lower spec thing for too long.
Yep.
Granted, they had that a little too low spec on its memory, specifically its memory, and only its memory. But they made it a little too low spec out the gate, and this lets them kind of move past those mistakes faster. In many ways. But a lot of people have said, how could it be profitable? How could it be profitable to have all these other stores on there besides Xbox?
I've seen that.
And I was talking with Danny about this before. I genuinely don't think a lot of the enfranchised Xbox people who already have an Xbox are going to switch to using Steam as their primary thing.
So
I'm
glad you brought that up, because this is where I want to bring Danny in to get his point of view of this. Yeah. And Danny, you were on the GCP, and I know the guys tried to give you smoke for this, but you mentioned something along the lines of this about the whole situation with Steam and things like that, and how it could bring some of them into Xbox in a way. Could you elaborate on that for because I wasn't there for this conversation part, but I know Kay agreed with you in a way on that. I'm pretty sure he did.
He did by the end of it. I did start that argument pretty obtusely because I was going up against somebody for whom I wanted to smoke out.
Yeah.
And so that is on me. I started aggressive, but really what I meant by it is that I think a lot of people on the PC side of things will probably end up, and not a huge amount, not like the majority, but like a pretty big decent chunk, will probably end up playing largely on Xbox just because of the ease of it.
Yeah, it's like a Steam Deck. It's like a Steam Deck.
If you can access your entire Steam library over on a console that you can just plug into your TV and not have to deal with all of the obtuseness and all that comes with the PC side of gaming, then I think that they're going to do that. Like, they might still buy their games through Steam. I know that some people be like, oh, well, then, you're still on PC. And sure, whatever, if you want to split that hair, split it. But they're going to be playing it on an Xbox because it's just easier and probably cheaper, almost certainly cheaper. So I don't necessarily think that it's going to be like, oh my God, overnight, Xbox has swept this whole thing. But I really do think, and I was talking about this on Ready, Set, Replay as well with Skylar, is like, it just really feels like Xbox is doing the most right now to like not necessarily take advantage of the sort of like world economic situation, but like doing their best to make sure that they are there for people who are going through that. Because like, yes, they're raising their prices on things and that sucks ass, and that's I'm not here to defend that. But it's like Game Pass is still here, giving people an affordable way to play their games. They're putting their stuff on all of these different platforms so that if you don't want to buy a new platform to play the thing, you can still play it. Like, they are doing so much pro-consumer stuff right now that in some ways, and I'm going to catch so much flack for this, it feels like they're kind of holding the industry up right now in terms of like Like, because even when you look at like PlayStation's financials, it's like, okay, well, they really only grew in 2 places, and it was their overhead because they fired a buttload of people,
Right.
and their third-party game sales. And that third-party game sales, we've seen the sales charts. That's Xbox.
So it's funny that is Xbox right now.
So it's like so much of what is happening this year in video games is Xbox. Like Xbox is the news in video games.
Literally.
For the last couple of years.
Yeah, literally.
And so I do think that there's a big part of it where people look, I know that people love their PCs and that there is a smaller subsect of the people who play on PC who will definitely always stay on PC and won't want to move away because like I put $4,000 into this computer and now I can get 4 frames per second more and I can add mods that give Doom Guy huge knockers or whatever, like whatever it is that they get out of it, they're never going to move away from that, and that's fine. But I would argue that there is a much larger percentage of people who are on PC probably just because they already have one, and it's not like when they do the surveys for what like parts are being used more often on the PC side. It's like 20 series cards and like or if even
it's a 1060.
It's like a 1060 and like laptop parts and shit. And it's like so they're just playing on PC because that's what's easier for them. Well, if now the thing that's easy for them becomes I can buy this box thing, plug it into my TV, and everything that I buy on there will also be on my PC, and it'll also be on this handheld, and maybe on my mobile phone. Who knows? Like, and all of that is the same thing. That becomes like, for so many people, I think the de facto easiest, simplest way to just do the thing that you want to do, and not have to worry about anything else. And on top of that, once the Steam library is there, and you have like your PlayStation games coming over too, then it's like why would you not? The only group of games that you would be missing would be whatever they don't put on Steam, PlayStation, and the Nintendo games. Yeah. And it's like, okay, like you're still going to miss out on some stuff, but like that's going to be, I think, in its totality, the best singular place to play video games.
Yeah. They will be trading in the space of people who want a console or console-like experience. Like they may want the freedom of PC, but they may want it to be a little bit easier. You're trading the concept of exclusivity for the concept of having the physical most available options of games to play that could possibly be at your fingertips, right? There will be some stuff that's not there, like Danny said, but and so I think for the Xbox people, I don't think any Xbox person is going to sell off at this point who has not done so already because they are too entrenched. The Steam people, they now get this option to have this cool thing where like they can get some games that aren't available to them on PC in this way. I'm talking games like Fable 2, Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, some of the classics from the original Xbox 360. Yeah. Halo 5, if for some unknown reason they don't ever port it anywhere else, which is frustrating. Like genuinely put it on PC. One. That's a weird one. Rare Replay. Like there are some
not
weird.
On PC?
It is not.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy, actually. Yeah.
There's a lot of minor things that this could be appealing because it is a device that does let you grab those things. And given that it sounds like it's just going to be a Windows device at its core, people asking about modding chat. If you're running like the Steam version of the game, I would assume that you're booting it into just a regular version of Windows, and you'll be able to just mod it as if you can on any device. Whether or not the thing will have enough chutzpah to run those mods, another question. But this is also like there's a lot of people who buy pre-built they buy laptops, they buy pre-built PCs.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
I build my own PC. I have my own custom-built PC sitting next to me right now that I am talking off of right now.
Yes, sir.
I love my Series X. I play most of my stuff on my Series X because I do IT for a living and I don't want to troubleshoot nonsense unless I am specifically modding or I am playing something that I want to play and can only play with my friends on PC. But I love my Series X, and as long as the Xbox part of it remains as simplistic and just works, because the consoles just work.
That's it.
Right? You don't run into the same kind of problems. Yeah. I love my PC, but there are times where Windows updates destroy it. And I have to troubleshoot for hours as to why the driver broke or why suddenly this file directory is no longer there.
And that's it, or the BIOS or whatever. For instance, I
had
to do a BIOS correction on my gaming PC because for Doom: The Dark Ages, it wasn't working, and it would cause degradation of the motherboard.
Was it XMP or something turned on?
Something like
for
that.
The RAM. Yeah,
and it was degrading the motherboard and also the CPU. And I had Kay and the guys help me walk through that to flash the BIOS, which I've never done before. So
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't super tough, but nobody
updating.
wants to go through that, right? Like nobody who's
yeah.
a console gamer is like, let me flash the BIOS. Nobody wants to do that. So you're right there, in that they have to get this, and I think they will absolutely knock this out of the park. By the way, they have to get it where it's streamlined and it just works. To your point,
because every Xbox gamer, every Xbox gamer I've ever talked to is like, I love my achievements. I love Game Pass. I love this. I love that. I love all of these things that are Xbox specific. They're not going to leave the Xbox store unless they have to get something. But now they can leave the Xbox store without leaving the console.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes this concept great.
Yeah.
Because you can't leave your PlayStation for something that's not on the PlayStation. Now, Xbox is bringing stuff to your PlayStation. There's still a lot of stuff that you cannot... There's a lot of stuff from like the Xbox 360, PS3 era you cannot play, which frustrates me.
So true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had somebody actually argue that too. Like, well... it's not an Xbox because you can't play all your Xbox games. I'm like, well, if that's your argument, then your PlayStation isn't a PlayStation because you can't play PlayStation 3.
That's the Ally, but the Ally just plays too little of it.
Yeah.
But I'm getting one, mind you.
I want to throw this at you guys too, and let me read this really quick. Spartan 661, thank you, brother. He drops a $20 donation. He says, "Woot!" Thank you. Thank you, brother. Let me throw this at you guys on this because I do have to get going.
Wrap up soon. Yep.
But one of the questions that came out, and at least I saw some people speculating on this, because to your point of, well, how does this work for Microsoft, like as far as sales? Well, I tend to not care about the major corporations, the multi-trillion-dollar corporations at that, when it comes to this, outside of what it'll do if people are fired and we lose people that can make the games, right? That affects me. So sure, I don't want anyone losing their job, and I also don't want the creatives to go away that are making the things that powering our dreams, as Xbox would say, right?
Yeah.
But one of the thoughts were like, oh, how is Microsoft going to profit from this if they allow for these different storefronts?
Super easy.
What's your thoughts on that?
They aren't going to lose any current Xbox customers who are doing what they want to do already, except if they want to buy something that they can't buy somewhere, right? The only thing that they really only stand truly, in my opinion, to gain from this, because maybe they get some of the people that currently were only using Steam or stuff, and they're convinced to buy this device, and maybe those people are like, oh, well, shit, I'll just throw Game Pass on as well, because those games just show up right next to my Steam games.
There you go.
Like, I really don't think, because Xbox really only has left its most enfranchised base. Truly, most of the casuals are gone. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? I don't think Xbox loses enough to matter. Plus, they are selling all of their games everywhere now to compensate already. That is part of those strategies are not separable. Xbox selling its game on every platform and taking that they're only getting 70%, but they're taking that 70% on every platform of some of the largest games out there, of Minecraft, of Call of Duty, of Overwatch, of the Diablos of the world, all of that.
Forza, apparently.
Forza, absolutely Forza. But and they're offsetting some of what they would stand to lose. And again, you can read Phil Spencer's Polygon article from last year where he talks about this and talks about how the strategy of opening up the platform goes hand in hand with opening up where you publish. Like this groundwork has been laid out for a year. It is totally on, like, it's a bit of a gamble. It is a little bit of a gamble, but I genuinely don't think that the people who are currently spending on Xbox stop spending on Xbox. And at that point, all you have to do is gain maybe you gain a couple million customers differently, right? So like, I genuinely don't think that they will lose money on this venture.
Yeah. What about you, Danny, on that?
I don't see any way that they could really lose money on this. Like,
They've already lost.
People are like, I don't know why they would bother making their own console, and it's like, well, because they don't want to get out of hardware. Like they're not going to subsidize the price on this. You're going to be buying it at cost, if not higher.
Yeah.
Like they will be making a profit on it, and it is like, I mean, like I said, it's going to very quickly become the situation where like this is going to be the ecosystem that maybe it's not the most adopted one, but it is going to have a ton of positives that I think are going to end up making it the best place to play. And we're already seeing huge people in the industry moving over to Xbox. Greg Miller just said the other day that he's playing mostly on Xbox now, and he's the biggest PlayStation guy in the planet.
Wow.
So it's like this is working. People are coming over, and I don't see them losing money by having other storefronts on their platform, because frankly, also one of the big things that is making money in the games industry right now is from just having the active users, because you can service them ads on your dashboard, and you can you know, you have their data and shit, and like that's where a lot of the money comes from. And so if you're in that ecosystem at all, they're happy. That's why Satya Nadella is talking about we have 500 million active users across all of our bases, because that's what they look at. Even PlayStation is transferring their outlook from like, I don't give a shit how many consoles we've sold, we need active users.
They're starting to catch on,
because that's where the money comes from, right?
Now, if you wanted ads to go away on your dashboard, that's never happening again. Sorry, friends.
Yeah, I mean,
you're done.
You're getting to be frank, you're getting dashboards, or you're getting ads on all of the dashboards. Like, I don't think they're on Switch right now. I obviously don't have a Switch 2, but there are ads on Steam, and there are ads on PlayStation. So it's like, you best start believing in ads, because we're in them. Like, you're gonna get them. That's where this is. And it's not necessarily like a terrible thing. They're just over there. You scroll past them on a web page and you don't even think about them. Like, that's all this is.
The goal is to make they need to make a more of a targeted effort of serving you good ads that tell you either about sales or about games that you would actually care about. Microsoft's gotten better at that.
Better.
They've
targeting.
gotten better, but they need better targeting.
I'll also say YouTube needs to be better about that, because lately their targeted ads have been absolutely not for me at all.
Yeah.
YouTube has been targeting ads to me about like from like far right shit, where they're like, we've been training the dogs to smell for computers, and I'm like, for what reason? To protect the babies from who? What is the computer doing to the baby?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about? And why am I seeing this for the 10th time today?
So,
also, how is this an ad? I'm not giving you money to make the dogs sniff for computers. What's happening?
So one final question on this is that one of the things people posited was, well, how does Play Anywhere work here now? Because Play Anywhere is essentially let me address this before I ask this fully, because Crippling Dead asked a good question. He says, where is it? Oh, he says, how do you think mods will work on next-gen Xbox? Well, it's going to be much more open now. Hey, what's good, Husky Hokage? What's up, brother?
I think they're already working a little bit on current ones. I think it'll just be that, but like slightly more open. Nexus Mods just got bought. Shit, maybe they'll put a Nexus Mods app on the thing.
Maybe.
I would expect anything that's being launched out of Steam or stuff to be treated just like regular Windows. When it comes out of the Xbox side of it, I'm not sure if that might be a slightly more like closed garden on a game by game kind of thing, where it's going to be treated more like the current console, and there's kind of a wall between the Xbox console-ish side and the other stuff, where like you'll be able to launch them as if they're side by side, but like how they exist like logically on the console might be a little bit more protected and sophisticated for direct Xbox console stuff. The Play Anywhere stuff, it's either slowly going to be phased out as conceptually the version of the game that you're buying just works across all the devices, as opposed to like the console being a different concept. But there could also be like, because of the Xbox first party hardware, there is a specialized different version of it than is like the proper PC version, and Play Anywhere could still exist. Because again, with this being like sophisticated custom hardware that Microsoft is making with AMD, there may still be tools for development that separates it from a PC, where if you're developing for it proper, there is more kind of like stuff that you can access. and more ways that you can like optimize the game out, or optimize games out the bat. And so the quote Xbox version of it might be a slightly different version of it than the PC version of it that is still like contained within the Xbox store. So play any that's a very hard thing. We will really need to see that in action when it comes out. We really need to see how separated the console bits would be from the PC bits if there are multiple stores, because it's still not 100% confirmed there are multiple stores. It's still kind of open. I think it would be ridiculous to think that based on what she said that there wouldn't be, but we still don't know for 100% sure.
I like the idea that, this cancels out the thought of Xbox missing out on so many games. That's one thing I'll say.
It does.
I love
100%.
that. I love that immediately. And I remember espousing on this before on, like I said, on multiple shows. And again, I don't think people really were paying attention because I'm like, yeah, they're going to have Steam and everything all accessible. And I think people kind of wrote it off because it didn't feel feasible yet. Now it's actually a reality. And now you'll be able to access PlayStation first-party games. You'll be able to access your Steam library, your Epic, and your GOGs. All of that is really dope, and it's all going to be integrated into the experience of the next Xbox, UI and everything like that. So it's going to have a nice UX experience for everyone. I say UX and it's experience twice, but you get me. Yeah. And so I love everything about that. What I will say on a mod situation, Crippling, is that I agree with Crusader that it'll be, if it's a Steam or purely PC-based situation, they're going to allow you to do whatever. I would also argue that I would probably argue, because it's PC-based in general, it's Windows, they're going straight out with saying, hey, it's Windows, you'll probably just be able to mod your Xbox games much in the same way that you can your Steam games, because I can do that right now with my Xbox games off the Xbox app. I can literally mod them the same way.
Depend on how much it's locked down.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's gonna, because like that section of it, like how they differentiate how the first party store operates on it and how the third party stores operate on it. That's gonna come down to like, are they locking it
security
down?
Yeah.
Because
I'm wondering how that'll work.
Because again, like they could allow for far more sophisticated calls if you are directly optimizing the game for the hardware, but that may require it to be locked down more. And that's why with modding, I'm like,
I
it'll
just
work
got an
one
idea
way for sure.
I just got a flash. Maybe if you're in the full screen mode, as they call it, with the Xbox experience on the console or handheld, maybe it'll be treated as if it's just an Xbox. But if you go into the Windows portion of it, which you'll be able to do, at least on the handheld, I'm not sure how they'll handle it on the Xbox proper, but since we know it's basically going to be a PC, with that being the case, maybe you'll be able to go to the Windows portion of it and treat the Xbox store like the Xbox, not like you're actually in the Xbox, but as an app on the PC. So you'll be able to mod it the same way I can right now on the PC if I pull up a game from the Xbox app. So
I'll tell you right now,
could be that.
Don't expect to mod your Xbox Series, Xbox One, 360, or original games. Like that is something that I would not expect. Those are going to be held within a like closed off emulator.
I would agree.
That you're not going to be able to touch. And that's why I'm like, I don't know whether the next Xbox generation will also be held in some kind of closed off thing that you can't touch. But definitely don't expect to be able to mod games for Xbox Series or before.
Yeah, previous generations probably off. Yeah, you're probably not gonna. I don't want to put anything past these wizards online because these people are creative as hell, right? So they find ways.
They're doing it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
With like FPS Boost. FPS Boost is a mod. It's just being done at the system level. It's a very hacky thing that they're doing. Tricking DirectX to do stuff, right? Maybe they open that up. I don't think they will, but maybe they do, and that would be cool.
Yes, indeed it would. Indeed it would. Danny, for you, going back to the whole Play Anywhere thought.
Yeah.
And I know you don't game on your PC as much as you would like I would maybe.
I'm only here when I need to be.
Yeah.
And then begrudgingly. Basically, the second that Steam is playable on my Xbox in my living room and I can play my Total War games out there, it's over.
It's a wrap.
This is my podcast machine, and then we're done.
Yeah.
And I'm frankly can't wait.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, in terms of the Play Anywhere thing, I think that's huge. I think that's great. I love the idea of being able to play your games between all things. I do also think that it is a buzzword at this point, because I think really at this point all that it is it's like, okay, well, this is all one storefront, and so if you buy a thing on this storefront, you can access it on any of the devices where that store is.
Right.
Like, that's all it really is, right? Because it'll be the same thing on Steam. Is like, you'll buy it on your computer and then you can play it on your Xbox. That's all it is. And I think that's also basically the easiest way that they're going to get people to sign up for it. Like, their third-party people won't necessarily have to sign up for it, because it's like, well, you're putting your game on on quote unquote the Xbox, which is this store that is on these devices, right? And so it'll all be the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is a buzzword. I think it's an effective buzzword, because what it's saying is one of the biggest drawing points of this whole thing, this whole strategy, I guess, which is we are everywhere that you want us to be. Buy your game here and you'll have it in all those places, right?
Yeah.
But objectively, like, yeah, that's just a way of saying like if you bought something, I don't know, but yes, if you bought it on Steam, and now Steam is also on a Steam Deck and on your Xbox, they would have the same thing, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And like I said, if there's two versions of the game where like there is technically it's like locked down more Xbox, but then you also get a version of it that works on just a standard Windows PC that's like not the Xbox console-y PC. Like those could still be two different versions of a game that works, that operate, that function slightly differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that too. That said, I mean, this is reassuring though, because you see so many people that were worried about the future of Xbox, right? And like, it's good to know they're not going anywhere. I would say this too, just to throw it out there. Seeing Sarah like this, it's been a while since we've seen our sister out here in the open, right? Because she's kind of had her head down doing what she had to do behind the scenes.
She was at the conference,
she was at
the showcase, but only very briefly. But they all are always every year. Yeah,
a lot of people met her. Shout out to Soil Tech who had cheek to cheek closeness, and I mean that by facial cheek to cheek. Their jowls, as the proper term, were touching, and people were quite jealous of our brother Soil Tech for this. I actually was too. I told him, "Did you smell the cocoa butter inherent on her?" But yes,
right. Okay.
That's strange.
Yes, yeah. But yes, Sarah, I think I see a transitioning of things when it comes to Xbox in general, from transitioning to the traditional style of consoles to a more Windows-based at least PC experience with it. And I also see that in leadership, because I think eventually our good brother Phil is going to transition things over to Sarah. Now, this is not some new revelation. People have been speculating this for years, that she would be the eventual person to take over, right?
I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely retiring in the next 6 to 10 years.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, I think that that's also true of a lot of the people in the games industry right now. Like, the games industry started at pretty much the exact age where, like, if you started working in games when it became a thing, you're retiring now. Like, a lot of the Nintendo guys are going to start retiring. Gabe's like 60. Gabe Newell is like 62. He's not going to stay being the only voice in Valve for much longer. Like, he'll retire probably in the next 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of transitions that's going to happen in the next couple of years, and some of it will be very exciting, and some of it will probably be deeply disappointing, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the brother James Coffee. He says Play Anywhere was a big reason why I got a PC last year. Absolutely. Oh, let me make it creepier for you, Risk It. Hold on.
No.
I'm gonna pull out a limerick he wrote about her.
Whenever you guys are feeling uptight, I just want you to remember to
try to relax your anus.
Anyway, guys, that'll do it for us for tonight. We got to get out of here. what is the scratch and sniff controllers? Absolutely, Risk. That's what they need to release some scratching. Oh, whoa, I said that wrong. Scratch.
Snatch.
Oh,
That was not
no.
purposeful. Oops. See what happens when you jump into depravity. Yeah. Decorum. Yes. Thank you guys for being here with us tonight and holding us down, and us being here so punctual. Thanks to me. And yeah, we do our best to deliver you guys the gaming and general media news as promptly as we can. That's our aim. I'm not saying we're perfect at the aim. We're kind of right now. I'm on the star. The what do they call those? One of the clones from Star Wars right now. My aim, but I'm getting there. So listen, I want to thank you, our brother Crusader, for joining us. Crusader, my brother, tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
Yep. You can find me at Crusader3456 on both Bluesky and Twitter. I am going to be not on a whole lot for the next week because I am going to the beach for a much-needed vacation.
Nice.
But I will be back after that.
Got to get away.
Yeah. God, I need to get away. I was working up until this podcast started, so I need a vacation. So yeah, that's where you can find me, and I will be playing random Final Fantasy and turn-based stuff while I'm on vacation. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Keep me up to date on that. I want to know what you think of those first ones.
Oh sure. I'm excited.
When
for
you finished Final Fantasy 1, send me a 10-word review on Discord.
I will.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
You've already used most of your words.
Yeah, man. Enjoy your vacation, man, and get your sun on, and get your snorkeling and everything else, and come back in one piece.
That sounds real nice, actually. Maybe I gotta get some of that myself.
And Danny, my illustrious co-host, co-star, tell the good folks where they can find you and what you will be up to.
You can find me at my podcast, Ready, Set, Replay, on Spotify and YouTube. I hope to see we're at 27 subscribers right now. We are not growing super fast, and I would love to see some of you over there as soon as possible. Please and thank you. We make good content, and if we don't, tell us why it's not good and how we could make it good. I love you. Please stop by. Or you can find me for the next 12 hours laying flat on my back on the hardest floor I can find because I am in hell. I live in hell now. Help me.
Yes,
No.
pray for our brothers back. Sorry you're going through that, man. Hopefully you feel better by morning. Yeah, and if you guys haven't done so, check out Danny and Skylar's podcast, man. They do great work. You guys know Danny already. You're going to hear quality and concise. And I wouldn't say, well, not necessarily concise. That's the wrong wording.
Sometimes,
yeah. Depending on our conversation, but you're going to hear a genuine perspective. That's what I look for when it comes to people.
This Tuesday, our review of the original Resident Evil 2 drops.
Nice.
At 11:30 a.m. this Tuesday. So I want to see at least 5 of you who are in the chat right now in that comment section, or I will come back here and I will be so salty.
Yes. I would say if you can make sure to post it, Danny, I'll make sure to share it out to get people to come through too.
Gotcha.
And I'll try to come through as well for it. Yeah, you guys, please give them a subscription over there, or that sounds so wrong. Give them a sub over there. It's just doesn't it sound wrong? Even though that's the short end of it.
I dropped it in the chat. All it takes is 2 clicks. One on the thing and one on the subscribe button. You don't even gotta watch anything right now.
That's
I hope
it.
you do, but you don't gotta. I
Go
just need that
click.
number to go up.
Absolutely. Go show our brother some love, folks. If you have
went
not.
up to 28.
Was it you?
No, I think I subscribed to you the last time I was on.
Yes, Risky. Danny has a podcast with his good buddy Skylar called
and
Ready,
it's only
Set,
kind
Replay.
of ass. So
it's only kinda. Only.
And, and if it is ass, let me know how it is, because I would very much like to improve it.
Listen, I'm an ass man, so you preaching to the choir.
Better go argue with him, please. Genuinely, please do. You know?
But yeah, He said, yeah, you're gonna go over argue with you. Get ready to get your argument on and then enjoy. Man, listen.
I'm looking forward to it.
Listen, Danny's been battle tested now. He's been in the GCP,
99%. Okay, at least 95%. Give me that 5%, right? Come
Damn,
on
he
now.
said 99% of the time. Damn.
That's hurtful.
Yeah, as far as myself, folks, you can find me Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite on social media. Of course, here you find us here every Thursday, typically, barring any life events, of course, at 8 o'clock Eastern. That's 7 Central. Fridays, the Infinite Podcast, hosted by my brother Risket in the chat there, with myself, that blue number, Holly, and Spriggan, a.k.a. Dante Moody. And that's at 8 o'clock Eastern as well on Fridays. And Tuesday, myself, Boomstick XL, I just call the brother Boom, and my brother Jamie Moran on the Xbox Factor at 12 o'clock Eastern noon. So, yeah, guys, thank you all for being here, holding us down. We're going to get out of here. You guys have a great weekend and play some games. I'm going to get back on the altars this weekend, as well as set up this glorious OLED handheld I got today with the Odin 2 Portal. I cannot wait to get into it more. And you will talk with you guys later. You all have a great weekend. And we're out.